Good morning, everyone. In last lecture, we have started with the topic that is diabetes. And in this particular topic, the things which we have studied till now, it is the diabetes general consideration. Then we have also studied about classification of the diabetes and the etiology of it. Then we have started with we have actually finished with the point that is pathogenesis, and the next part that we are going to consider it is clinical features, then pathogenesis of complications and complications of diabetes. Okay, so this is the book which we are referring for this particular topic. So this is all we have covered till now. Okay, so now starting with the clinical feature. So let's read. It can be appreciated that hyperglycemia in diabetes mellitus does not cause a single disease, but it's associated with numerous diseases and symptoms, especially due to the complications. So the hyperglycemia, which is the characteristic feature of the diabetes mellitus, is causing the multiples of complications, and this it is leading to the multiples of diseases and not only single disease. Okay, so overlapping of the clinical features, it occurs as regards the age of onset, duration of symptoms, and family history. Okay, so this is this particular flow chart. It indicates that how particular complications of the diabetes they occur. Okay, so basically, as we have identified earlier, the main cause for the diabetes mellitus is the insulin deficiency, which leads to the hyperglycemia. This hyperglycemia, it causes the fatigue, so which is one of the sign and symptom of the diabetes. Then this hyperglycemia leads to the glycosuria, that is the excretion of glucose via the urinary route, and this leads to the vulvitis and Balantis. Okay, so this vulvitis and Balantis, again, it is because of the uh, changes that happens due to the insulin deficiency in the body. So this glycosuria, it has two two implications. That is, it leads to the increased catabolism as well as there is decreased anabolism. So we will see the left hand side first, and then we will move to the right hand side. So this increased catabolism, it has two implications. That is, it leads to the hunger and polyphagia, and also it causes weight loss. So because of there is increased catabolism, there is increase in lipolysis. So that is in the adipose tissue, which leads to the wasting. Okay, so this increased lipolysis, it causes increase in free fatty acids in plasma, and the oxidation in that happens in liver, and this leads to the ketoacidosis, and finally this ketoacidosis leads to death. That's why it becomes very essential to control the blood sugar level. Okay, so let's see the right hand side of the chart. So because of this insulin deficiency, there is decreased anabolism. So this leads to the osmotic diuresis, and the implications of this osmotic diuresis, they are the polyuria and polytipsia. Okay, so this osmotic diuresis leads to the dehydration and loss of electrolytes, which leads to the tachycardia and the hypotension. And if not controlled early, then it can lead into the diabetic coma, and which can lead to the death. Okay, so this is the pathogenesis of the complications of the diabetes mellitus. Okay, so uh, there are certain mechanisms that actually are responsible for the development of complications. So there are three mechanisms. The first one is non-enzymatic protein glycosylation. Second is polyol pathway mechanism. Third one is excessive oxygen free radicals. Okay, so we can see there are three various complications can be associated. One with the vascular, second is metabolic, and third one is the immune. So vascular uh, complications, they can be macrovascular or microvascular. So macrovascular complication, they include the atherosclerosis, which may lead to the infarcts, that is heart, brain, and the bowel, and also the gangrene of the extremities. The microvascular complication, they can lead to the microangiopathy, and it is uh, it is implicated as the neuropathy, nephropathy, and the retinopathy. Okay, so the metabolic complications, they include the increased sorbitol levels, which lead to the lesions in the aorta, in lens of eye, in kidney and nerves. The protein glycosylation, which is another complication, metabolic complication, leads to the BM thickening. So it leads to the neuropathy, nephropathy, and retinopathy. So if you can see, this protein glycosylation actually leads to the microvascular complications. Okay, so then next we have immune complications, in which there is defective CMI. CMI stands for the cell mediated immunity, because of which there is multiples of infections can be seen in the diabetes mellitus patient, which include the tuberculosis, then urinary tract infection, and the pneumonia. Okay, also there is a defect in the PMN function, that is polymorphonuclear cell function, which leads to the which exposes the person to the variety of infections like the fungal infection, the candida and others, and the various types of bacterial infections. So let's see what are these mechanisms. We are going to discuss one mechanism at a time. So the first mechanism we are going to discuss, it is non-enzymatic protein glycosylation. So what happens in this? The free amino groups of various body proteins, they bind by non-enzymatic mechanism to glucose. Okay, so this process of binding of proteins to the glucose, it is called as glycosylation. And this process of glycosylation, it is directly proportional to the severity of hyperglycemia. It means that more the sugar levels in the body, in the blood, more is the glycosylation. Okay, so similarly, there is accumulation of labile and reversible glycosylation products on collagen and other tissues of the blood vessel wall, which subsequently becomes stable and irreversible by chemical changes, and they form advanced glycosylation in products. So where this advanced glycosylation in products, they get formed onto the collagen and other tissues of the blood vessel wall. Okay, so that's why we have those vascular complications. Okay, so these AGEs, they bind to the receptors on different cell, and thus they produce a variety of biologic and chemical changes. So the example of this is the thickening of the vascular basement membrane in diabetes. Okay, so most of the time, so why we see some vascular changes or vascular complications in diabetic patient, it is because of this the advanced glycosylation in products which are binding to the receptors on different cells. Okay, so next we have the polyol pathway mechanism, which actually causes or is implicated in the development of the complications. Okay, so this mechanism is responsible for producing lesions in the aorta, in lens of eye, kidney, and peripheral nerves. These tissues, they have a particular enzyme which is called as aldose reductase enzyme. Okay, so this enzyme, it reacts with glucose to form sorbitol and fructose in the cells of hyperglycemic patients. So these uh, certain reactions they have given, which causes conversion of glucose into the sorbitol, and then from sorbitol we get the fructose. Okay, so this intracellular accumulation of the sorbitol and fructose, it results in entry of water. So the intracellular osmotic pressure, it increases because of presence of sorbitol and fructose, and thus it leads to the cellular swelling and the cell damage. Okay, and also the accumulation of the sorbitol intracellularly, it leads to the intracellular deficiency of myoinositol, and it promotes injury to the Schwann cells and the retinal pericytes. So the neuropathy and the retinopathy, which we have just enlisted as the complication, how it is connected to the sorbitol, it is in this way. Because of its accumulation, the sorbitol causes deficiency of myoinositol, and thus injury to the Schwann cells happens and the retinal pericytes, which results into the neuropathy, peripheral neuropathy, and the retinopathy in the diabetes mellitus patients. Okay, so these polyols, they result in disturbed processing of normal intermediary metabolites, and thus they are leading to the complications of the diabetes. So the third mechanism is the very simple one, that is the formation of excessive oxygen free radicals. So there is increased production of this reactive oxygen species, uh, from which we get from the mitochondrial oxidative phosphorylation, and these reactive oxygen species, it can damage various target cells in the diabetes. Okay, so let's this one will be the last slide of our presentation, that is the complications of the diabetes. So as a consequence of the hyperglycemia of diabetes, every tissue and organ of the body, it undergoes biochemical and structural alterations. Okay, so that's why this hyperglycemia, it is not associated with only a single disease, it can cause multiples of disease. Okay, so this accounts for major complication in diabetics, which may be acute, metabolic, or chronic systemic. Okay, so both type of the diabetes mellitus, that is the type 1 as well as type 2, they may develop the complications, which are broadly divided into two major groups. So the acute metabolic complications, they include the diabetic ketoacidosis, then they include the hyperosmolar non-ketotic coma, and also the hypoglycemia. Okay, so the late systemic complications, they include the atherosclerosis, diabetic microangiopathy, diabetic nephropathy, diabetic neuropathy, diabetic retinopathy, and various types of infections. Okay, so for more details of all of these complications, you can refer to the book, that is Harsh Mohan, but it will make this topic very lengthy. That's why I haven't included the details of all of these complications in this. So that's why i have I have to uh, I have to curtail down on certain of the things. Okay, so with this we have finished with the topic, that is diabetes mellitus. Okay, so we should stop over here only, and we will start with the next chapter, uh, that is the thyroid diseases in next lecture. Okay, thank you.